Hello, I'm the Necro Critic, and welcome to part 1 of the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde double feature Halloween craptacular. Now, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson is a truly classic tale of science gone wrong and the horrors of facing one's inner demons.
With a legacy as great as Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and Bram Stoker's Dracula, it's still considered one of the greatest horror novels ever written.
Yeah, I never read it. However, I can't deny its legacy.
Aside from the classic Universal film starring Fredric March, the story has had countless adaptations, including a mediocre BBC original series, an indescribably bad NES game, a poorly received Broadway musical, and cameo appearances in several rather terrible movies.
I'm not trying to...
Where was I going with this? Anyway, one of my favorite kinds of adaptations is the modernization. You know, where they take the same plot and characters, but give it a modern-day setting. Now, in 2006, they released not one, but 2 crappy modernizations of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Today, we'll focus on this one. The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
What's interesting about this one is the fact that it stars horror legend Tony Todd. For those of you who don't know, Tony Todd is a brilliant actor who is most famous for his role as the Candyman.
Now, this shouldn't be too bad. I mean, I've already dealt with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde before in my Van Helsing review.
Dr. Jekyll, you are wanted by the Knights of the Holy Order.
It's Mr. Hyde now.
For the murder of 12 men, 6 women, 4
4 children, 3 goats, and a rather nasty massacre of poultry.
On second thought, I think I'm gonna need something a lot stronger than this. This ought to do nicely.
So, the movie starts off with 3 girls just hanging out.
Where'd you guys park?
In front of the library. Where are you?
I'm down here. Where? It's so dark. It's cheap.
She parked in a dark alley because it was cheap? I'm sorry, but that is the worst excuse I've ever heard to get a girl down a dark alley.
So, predictably, she gets violently tortured by a monster. Afterwards, Mr. Hyde bursts into Dr. Jekyll's office while covered in blood.
You killed that girl.
So, Jekyll and Hyde actually communicate with each other via paranoid schizophrenia? That's actually pretty clever. Huh. Maybe this movie won't be as bad as I thought it would be.
So, 2 detectives are investigating the crime scene.
What kind of animal would do something like this?
Out of control crackhead with a knife, if you ask me.
Actually,
Oh my god, this acting is horrible!
I take back what I said, this movie's gonna blow.
I mean, you gotta love their reaction to the horribly mangled corpse.
Another dead person? Christ, this is getting annoying.
However, the girl detective gets berated by her lieutenant for not having her gun on her.
Do I sense a major plot point?
So we cut back to Dr. Jekyll, who's busy lamenting the death of the girl. As he's leaving the building...
Ah! Plot attack!
According to the flashbacks, Jekyll started taking his own drug because the FDA wouldn't approve of it because it needed at least 3 more years of testing. You know, these events might have made a good opening.
This flashback scene would make sense if it happened about halfway through the movie, but we're just barely 10 minutes in. Now, I would understand if they needed to cut it out for length, but this movie isn't even an hour and a half long. There's no excuse for this.
Meanwhile, the two detectives figure out that the girl who was murdered earlier was also raped. Post-mortem. They also find out that Jekyll gave 50 grand to the family of said necrophilia victim. However, before they can investigate, the girl gets called into the lieutenant's office so he can berate her more for not carrying a gun. This time, though, it looks like they're going to exposit why she doesn't carry her gun.
Look, had died in the line of duty. He was a good cop, and I know you were close.
Yes, we were.
But Karen, you gotta get over this. Now. The gun exploded in his hand, not yours.
Yeah, you know, I was there, remember?
Oh my god! Seriously?
I'm sorry. Her partner's gun exploded? Oh my god. Oh my god. I mean, I figured her fear of guns came from someone she knew getting shot. I mean, it's a perfectly rational and understandable explanation. But a gun exploding? I mean, freeze!
So the detectives are investigating Jekyll's lab when suddenly Hyde bursts out and scares them away.
He works with Dr. Jekyll, yes.
And you let your employees talk to people that way?
I'm sorry. He's just very protective of the doctor's work.
Though it's kinda weird, the both of them are never in the same room at the same time. It's probably nothing, though.
So while the two detectives are at another crime scene, Jekyll's boss calls him in to complain about Hyde. She tells him to fire him, but...
Henry? Oh, God.
I've never been called that before.
Oh my god! Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde are the same person? What a shocking and completely unexpected plot twist!
Mr. Hyde doesn't want to be fired, so he kills her. The security guards then break into the office to investigate the screaming. They then come across Hyde.
Oh, excuse me, do you want a cigarette? Smoke? A drink? Or you need to use the grabber?
That was a pretty nice line.
Put your hands on the bar. All right. And nobody has to get hurt. Certainly. Hey, listen, how come they don't give you rent-a-cops guns? It's because they're afraid that you're going to shoot yourselves in the back.
That was also pretty awesome. Oh my god, I am loving this Hyde.
So Hyde goes on a rampage, then takes the drug and turns back into Jekyll. Afterwards, our two favorite defectives investigate the lab and start questioning Jekyll. He then explains the kind of research they're doing.
It's a form of nanotechnology.
Nanotechnology involves the use of micromachinery.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Nanobots? The drugs that he's been injecting himself with this whole time were nanobots? Oh my god.
Okay, I'll admit, I'm overreacting a little. Nanotechnology is actually being researched, and one of the possible applications for it is being able to mend and reconstruct weak cells. So, there is some plausible truth to this.